typical German. I've already got them preset. They're just going to go in the oven. But I've got chicken Schnitzel. Not quite done yet. They will be finished in the oven. And then I'm going to make Spaetzl for them. Spaetzl is just really simple. Flour, eggs, water, herbs, and salt. Done. What we got here is we're going to go with about 4 cups of flour. Like so. Then we're going to start working everything else into it. Herbs, a little bit of salt. It's about a teaspoon of salt, roughly around a tablespoon of herbs. The eggs. I'm just dumping everything in at once. Look at that. I'm going to work this a little bit. Get it spread around, break up the eggs. There they go. This Spaetzl is a German form of a noodle or a dumpling. But it's not going to be as dry as you would find with like the Italian version of noodles or the Asian version of noodles. Dump that water right in there. It's going to be kind of like a thick pancake batter when it's finally mixed together right. Give or take. Even now, this might be a little bit too dry for me. Might want to go a little bit wetter with it. So I'm going to add a touch more water, like so. A little bit at a time. I want it to be able to spread smooth, but I don't want it to be runny. And still not quite where I want it. So another touch of water. Just a little bit of time working it to where I want it to be. Almost there. Okay, if you can see it, it's kind of gloppy and goopy. It's about where you want it, give or take. And from here, we're going to go through, and these will end up going over to the stove where I'm going to boil them. And you'll see how that goes in just a few minutes. We're just waiting on the water to come to a boil. Well, our original plan did not work well, so we're going with plan 2. The slats on this are a little bit bigger, and they allow the noodles to drop through a little bit better. So we're going to plop in, like so, and come right over here. Force out. Maybe. There we go. Some are dropping. Aha! Now, when you get these dropping, start cutting them off like so. They will sink to the bottom. You want them to do that. When they're done, they'll start floating. We'll have to go through and make sure that they're not drooping. Cut off. These are going to be kind of funky looking, but that's okay. Yeah. Alright. Let that rest for a minute. Comes off the side here. Yeah. Now, you see, they're very uneven. It's alright. There's nothing wrong with that. They're all going to cook about the same. Make sure there's nothing sticking to the bottom. We'll let them go for a minute, and then we're going to throw them in an ice bath. Oh yeah, these look nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to this portion of it. When we go to serve everything, we're actually going to sear these off again. You could serve them just like this, right out of the pot. They're not going to have a nice crispness. When I saute them and sear them in a fry pan, they're going to have a nice crispness to them. They're going to come out a little bit flavor, or a little bit more flavor, a little bit more sauce to them. But yeah, that's where we're starting at right now. These are done. I'm going to throw them in the Alright, so now we're getting into where we're going to finish everything off. Then after this we'll show a plate up. Over here I'm going to do the topping for the schnitzel, which is going to be mushrooms and onions in a butter. And over here I'm going to do the Spaetzl and finish that off. So start off I'm going to add oil to the pan first. When you add a little bit of oil first, it helps raise the smoke point of the butter a little bit so you don't get quite as bad. It doesn't break down as much. Let this get nice and hot. So we get that butter flavor in without actually burning it as much as we would if we were just going straight butter. Add in the onions. We're going to let these cook for a second before we go into the mushrooms. I'm going to let these, it's going to kind of give a caramely sugar sweetness to the final thing. Those are going. We can actually salt these now. Okay, and once these are going a little bit, then we're going to switch over here. We're going to try and get everything coming out at roughly close to the same time. So these will go, and once these are done, or once these are ready, now mushrooms go in. Yada yada. The nice thing about this is the Spaetzl is actually going to be the quickest thing to cook now that the hard part of it's actually done. So we're going to let this go for a little bit and actually get to where we want it. Make sure everything's cooking well. Just right in there. Mushrooms like to stick together. There we go. Alright. So in just a few minutes we will go into the Spaetzl and then we'll do the plate up. This is pretty much done. I'm going to add a little bit of lime juice. So I'm going to tie it all together with that. Kind of mix the flavors a little bit, touch them up. And now this is going to come off the heat. Let it finish on its own. Away from the heat, going off. Okay, now this is going to be kind of splashy in a minute. A little bit of oil, some butter. And then, here's where the splash comes in. Toss some Spaetzl in that. Get it to mix around a little bit, and then we're going to let the heat do its magic on it. Mix it up again and it'll be done. We're going to finish it with a touch of this, of the lime, and then everything's going to go on the plate. Now to finish it, a little Spaetzl on the plate, like so. And a little bit of the onions and mushrooms right there on the Schnitzel.